Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmer, and together with my co-host Mark Ronich of jbiztechvalley.com and Statewide News Service. Mark, who do we have today?
Well, Rabbi, we have the Rensselaer County Sheriff, Jack Mahar, and he's a Republican in Rensselaer County. The sheriff in Albany, Craig Apple's a Democrat. And
I hope there's no fighting there.
There's no fighting going on across the river, but I just, it's nice to have the sheriff on, and he took the time to come over from Troy to our home here in the Albany Public Library. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
You're welcome, and I really appreciate the invite. I look forward to it. One thing I do want to say, though, once I am elected, I represent all the people.
Yes, you do. Yes, and every elected official knows that, says that, yes. And I understand that. So,
yeah, very good.
Yes, you become apolitical, but you have to run on some party.
You have to be a party.
That's right.
That's correct.
So, how is the law enforcement and crime in Rensselaer County? Is it doing better under your second term?
This is my third term.
Third term.
That's correct. I mean, is crime doing better? Interesting question. The crime rate is down in certain areas, but again, it's up in other areas. As it's well documented throughout the media, that you see that we have a large increase in heroin addiction and drug usage per se. So that's one of our difficult challenges that are facing, in Rensselaer County as well as the entire region. In fact, it's in the United States, all over the United States right now.
Everyone says it's because it's cheap and it's easy to get.
That's part of it. Yeah. That's exactly. The cost is very low, easy access, and again, it gives them what they're looking for. It's unfortunately, and it's
what does heroin do to an individual? Does it make them high? Does it make them depressed?
It's an opiate. To me, it mellows them out.
Mellows them.
And heroin addiction. You don't have a lot of problems with heroin addicts. Physical problems with them.
Because they're mellow.
They're mellow. It's some other drugs that the individuals get very excited. That's correct. But heroin, you don't see that type of a problem.
Hydrocodone, I would think, would be
it's very similar. No problem.
They also mellow.
They also mellow. The biggest problem you have with them is not so much during their act of being high. It's the problem is after the fact. The damage that it does to the families, and also their need for money and their drive and the crimes they commit to get that money to feed their need.
But I mean, if they're mellow, I'm not getting that. What would they do? I mean, it's just like taking an after-dinner drink. I mean, I'm just saying, what would be the problem? I mean, if it's such a low, it's like going out and getting a six-pack or a pack of cigarettes.
A lot more problems with that. Not only after a while of use, they have to continue it just to get normal.
Really?
As they such an addiction. They have to feed the addiction to keep themselves at a normal state rather than at their quote mellow state.
So they don't want to be mellow?
Well, no, they would like to be, but they have to feed this just to stay normal.
Okay, normal
meaning a regular mental state, a functional state.
Okay, because when they're too mellow, then they're
not functioning.
They're not functioning,
as they should. And nor do you want them driving or out doing anything else like that.
Okay, so what other issues do you have that you're struggling with and have challenges in Rensselaer County?
When you say Rensselaer County, though, which of course the main city is Troy, I mean, do you work with Troy? I mean, Troy has their own police department. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
So, I mean, you're going to deal with Troy, or you listen to Troy?
No, we work with Troy, especially in drug areas. We have a drug task force through the sheriff's office that we work with, not only Troy, but the other law enforcement agencies in Rensselaer County, all of them that operate there, and there's throughout the entire county. We also work with Troy in other areas, but as far as daily patrol, no, we do not patrol there. They have their own police force to do that. We patrol the underserved areas of Rensselaer County, there's 14 towns and 2 cities in Rensselaer County.
And how many, then the villages have their own police force?
A couple of villages do. Skodak's a town, but there's the town of Nassau has part-time. There's Hoosick Falls has its own police department. And then East Greenbush will have its own police department, North Greenbush, City of Troy. So for the most part, we work with all those agencies.
So when you go up 9 and 20, be careful.
Yeah, we drive all safely, so we don't have those
There
issues.
you go.
There you go.
But like Troy, maybe economically is getting better. That's what they're saying. I mean, I don't have statistics, but does that mean the crime rate is going down? I mean, it's getting uplifted a little bit.
I think it's very comparable to most urban areas right now, the type of problems that are associated with that. And again, a lot of it is drug-related problems. Surrounding the drug culture and the violence that you see around that drug culture.
So let me ask you about, in Troy, they had a problem in January with this bar called Cocopelli's.
Correct.
Was the sheriff's department involved in that at all, or was that just strictly the city police?
The sheriff's department was called to the scene at the very end as an assistance. When they arrived, most of the activity was over by then.
Okay, and what's your impression of what went on there?
I wasn't there. I don't
Okay.
have the facts. I
Okay.
definitely will not work without
It's-
knowing that. Look
yeah,
into
it's-
another agency's
it was something-
investigation. Correct.
Okay, it was, okay.
You know, is it something that could happen? And when I retired from the City of Troy Police
Oh,
Department.
okay.
I spent 28 years there. And incidents like that in bars do occur. They spontaneously occur.
Right.
And a lot of people are intoxicated. They get, beer muscles, as they say, and things like that. And they get too excited and things go quick. And most of these things happen in a matter of a few minutes.
And you're supposed to call the police when
And
these things
initially, by law, they are required to notify the police when there's trouble inside
happen. Yeah.
there.
So we call the courage juice.
Yes,
That's what I call
okay.
it.
We call it beer muscle. So,
Yeah.
I mean, very similar, but you're right. But those types of events can happen, and they happen quickly. Most of the time, they're resolved very easily, but we live in a world today of
Right.
of media. And
They blow it up.
well,
Everything's on camera.
everything is on videoed right away, camera, and you really have to take the opportunity not only to see at that moment to see what happened, what you're being shown, but to get all the facts and then see the whole picture, and then make a
Let me ask
determination.
you, just even the employment, it's interesting, just picking up on the fact you went from Troy Police to the Rensselaer County. Is there a mix and match? I don't know how police departments go.
Well, the
Then
Troy-
you can be a state trooper afterwards?
Well, it could be, no, not necessarily, but the sheriff is an elected official. So I ran for office, elected
So you weren't
office.
the county.
So I was working for the
Policeman.
city. I ran for elected office. When I was elected, I retired from the Troy Police
I
and
understand.
then took over the
But people
the
don't
role.
transfer like being a police officer in Troy then to be a sheriff into county. I mean, just not
Well,
on
if
your
he was
level.
employed as a deputy sheriff, then
Yeah.
you don't have to run for office, but he ran for office.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean,
Yeah.
To answer your question, for the most part, no, but it is possible. A lot of people look for, again, it's a money-driven world, we all know that. People look for bigger salaries and things like that, so you might start out in one agency and work your way to more.
Try to be a state trooper. or
Well, you
something.
can go wherever you go, wherever
Yeah.
you might test, wherever you do
Right.
well on testing areas, and you go those areas. Some people look as progressing to
so what's your salary?
my salary. It's public record. I
Yeah.
make $97,000
That's
a
why I
year.
didn't hesitate to ask. 'cause
Yeah, it's
you know,
public record. 97,000.
And you'd like to earn more,
Absolutely. I think we all would. I feel. Do we earn it? Absolutely, we earn it.
absolutely.
But it's, I understand the county pays what it can pay. I get that part of the picture. We're all driven by our economies, and that's we understand that.
But it's also a reality that you have that not just the budget, but you get into a political discussion when you talk about hiking. I mean, in the state commissioners, while it's not elected, they're earning less than the deputy commissioners or
That's
assistant commissioners because they're capped.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's the case in your department. Are your deputies at some point, are they able to earn more than you, or? how is
Directly, not their direct salary, but through overtime,
Yes.
yes, they can make more
it?
than
And
me.
they do?
And they do.
And they do.
And that's fine. I mean, trust me, they earn it and they work it.
How many
so.
members are on the force?
I have 250 employees in the entire sheriff's office.
Okay.
They're split between the
Civilian?
civilian staff, people who work for the civil office, which are all civilian, the correctional staff, which are correctional officers and civilian staff, and then the highway patrol for us, which are the sworn deputies, and a few civilians.
And is that enough?
No, it's not even close to
How
enough.
much? What would you need in terms of feeling comfortable that it was enough?
If on my highway patrol side, I would feel comfortable if I had approximately 70 deputies working the road. I have a total of 29. We cover 700 square miles, and we're a full-service law enforcement agency, 24 hours a day. We have a detective division.
What about the COs, the corrections
The
officers?
correctional officers, I'm running approximately 180 correctional officers.
And how many would you like to have?
Right now, we're staffed well at
Okay.
correctional officers to meet the needs of our jail
And
population.
how many people are in the jail? How many inmates are in the jail?
Right now, we're running on average anywhere between, say, around 380 up to maybe 410 a day.
And what's the maximum? What do you max out at?
We can max out at 473.
All right, so you got room for
You
improvement?
know, Mark, I actually I visited the Rensselaer County prison. You know, unfortunately, once of my 10 jobs that I do,
Sure.
unfortunately, there are prisoners and they need a
Absolutely.
lot of help, to say the least. But I have visited. It's a very nice facility. It's a very good facility. But, you know, again, we've had many county sheriffs on the show, and it's not only Rensselaer County inmates that come in. You have others.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right now, we're fortunate, I mean, for the county, we're housing in prisoners from Dutchess County. We have it, every now and then, we'll have some from Putnam County. We'll have a couple.
Because they have an overflow.
They have an overflow, and also in our business, not always are inmates compatible. You want to put them out of the facility. They might be for reasons the district attorney's office might not want them talking to one another, or there could be problems with the case in which they might be dangerous to one another. So we'll move them out of the facility and house them in another correctional facility.
But they have to pay you.
Well, we have to
The
pay them
county.
for that.
Yeah, but if they come,
They
you're-
pay us for that, that's
Or in the
correct.
federal crimes?
And
'Cause
we
there's no
have-
federal facilities around Albany, and there is a federal court.
That's correct. That's why we're fortunate. We are the closest jail to the federal court in Albany.
There's the Raybrook and Otisville in Orange County. Raybrook up in the Adirondacks are the two federal facilities.
Well, with us is the Albany Federal Court. It's just straight down 787 and right here down
Yeah.
in Broadway in Albany. So it's very good for us.
But couldn't Albany County handle federal prisons?
Sure they do. They do
Okay,
have
and
federal
they do.
prisoners also.
Okay.
They do. And again, it's a competitive world right now. We're all out trying to, offset our expenses and try to drive up the revenue.
So how
like
are
everything
you doing
else.
that? Does the county give you more than you bring in, or are you breaking even based on what your budget is for the county?
Public safety, you never break even.
Okay.
It's a cost item heavily, but we do help offset some of our revenue. Our revenues this year will bring in approximately $2 million
From from outside
from
prisoners.
outside prisoners.
Are you doing video visitations?
We have our video visits up and running. However, it's a very slow process getting people on board to take advantage of it. I think it's something new they're not accustomed to yet, but you're also aware New York is a contact state mandatory, meaning that you can have physical contact when you visit your inmate. You can hold their hand, they kiss, hug like that right up front.
Only in the beginning and
New York
only at
State,
the
yes.
end?
Yeah, right. But then they're monitored throughout there, but
Right.
on video,
Only
you
New York
can't do
State.
that.
Yeah, Shirley. It's only New York State. I didn't know that because I do visit,
Yeah.
many facilities.
And they don't allow that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but New York State, it's mandatory.
So
Now,
how do you- I
So,
didn't know
so
that.
because video visitation could be a big moneymaker. Craig Apple was saying how big it is.
Its
in Albany.
potential is for us
Yeah.
to there. You look at how many units you have, how many allocations for spots per day. We charge $9 for 20 minutes. People say, well, some people might say that's a lot of money. Other people I look at it as, come on, drive in a winter day and a cold day and drive 40, 50 miles to visit your loved one in the facility.
The gas itself.
Gas and everything else, and it might be a lot easier just to log in.
Pay
and
the $9.
Pay the
yeah.
$9. For 20 minutes it's very reasonable, I believe. Technology is a very, very high price item today. It doesn't come cheap to have it, as we all know, and we do have to offset the costs of it.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
that's part of the reason why it's charged that way.
What about the canine unit? I know that you have
Oh,
a
I
personal canine Harley,
Yes, I do.
and I was looking forward to meeting Harley. But what's your what's?
But they had the dog right on the show over here
Yeah,
via
well,
one of our
right.
guests.
Well, he doesn't do well, I guess. In the
Well,
situation.
it's very warm in here now,
Yeah.
tight quarters, it's new.
He'd be
I mean, if I brought him
panting.
in and got him acclimated for a little while, then he would be fine.
Uh-huh.
But no, he's a wonderful, wonderful dog. He's a full-service canine. all drugs, advanced drugs, patrol, protection dog. We have 8 in our, for the Rensselaer County Sheriff's, 8 canines. Most of them are drug trained. They're all, I look at them as a force multiplier. I have 29 deputies for the road. A few of the extra canines out there really do help in the situations what they're called for. But
Detective work, or, I mean, just like crowd control, you know,
we
like.
don't, we don't use them for crowd control. No, where their value is to us is, and they've been extremely well, they do tracking of not only, quote, the bad people, those who may have just committed a crime, lost children, seniors, Alzheimer's and stuff like that. We've been very successful in tracking and locating both. And the dogs are very, very handy for that. They're just so good at that. They're also...
You have them sniff a piece of clothing?
No, we don't do it that way.
No?
No, we don't do article search. They'll track through your track. When you move through wherever you're going through, many things happen. If you're running through grass breaks, all that, they can pick up those fresh odors. Cells from your body fall. They can differentiate those odors and smells, and they can track all of that.
This is why I asked these questions,
Yeah.
because I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're just an amazing, they are amazing animals, and they're very intelligent.
These are mainly German Shepherds?
Well,
That's what you-
we have both German Shepherds and we have labs. The labs, we have a explosives detection dog, which is a lab. We have a arson detection dog, which is a lab. I have 2 labs that are, one's drugs, and the other one is a full protection drug dog for a lab. So it's, and then the rest are German Shepherds.
And how do you bond with Harley? I mean, how is that working? I mean, here you are without Harley, but so is he lonely? Is he missing you?
Well, he does not like staying home. He prefers to be to work. These are amazing. They drive to come to work is amazing.
Do you leave Harley in the car alone?
No, he comes to my office with me, works in my office with me. I will respond when I'm available, or in the evening after hours. If the deputies call, they have a car pulled over, they might want to search for drugs, things like that. We might want to do a track for something. I'll go out and I'll do that after hours and things like that.
And you can't loan Harley out to another
No,
officer?
in New York State, you're certified as a team.
Yeah.
The dog and the handler are one team. You can't certify individually.
Really? I didn't know this. I mean, so you can't just lend your dog out?
No.
That's an interesting thing, too. Where are they trained? I mean, initially?
We are
There is
very,
a place in the United States?
we are very fortunate. We have 2 certified trainers on our staff.
Really, you do it in-house?
We do it all
That's very
in-house.
interesting.
And not only that, we have Saratoga County trains with us, Fulton County, Montgomery
And you make
County.
more money that way.
No, we don't charge them. That's
Oh,
all.
you should.
No, we work together. We work together.
No, because I said seeing eye dogs, I know there's a few places in the United States,
Right.
they train seeing eye
And
dogs,
they
so that's
sell.
what I was thinking also.
Right, and
Training
there's-
police dogs.
They do the same thing in this business. There are private firms out there that train, and people do buy them from them, very large expense. But you still have to do all your maintenance training and do that. We'll train twice a month with our own, all our officers together, and the other agencies come in and train with us. So it's
It's interesting, we didn't know all this.
You have a lot of programs in
Yes.
the Rensselaer County Sheriff's Office.
Yes.
I mean, I was amazed when I went on the website and I saw all the programs.
Yeah.
And it was like, you have a Sheriff's Emergency Response Team,
That's correct.
and it does like 10, 12 different things. you
They're,
know?
right. They're a SWAT team that they do a great job. They are what we utilize them for and train them for. We are the only law enforcement agency in which every deputy is a certified EMT.
Really?
We provide first responder EMT services in the county.
Mhm.
We've done a phenomenal job.
They call you for EMT, or it's just
Well,
a supplemental
No,
experience?
we're not there to replace any ambulance service or any other EMT service. But we're on the road 24/7. We're always there. We're normally the first ones at crash scenes, first ones at fire scenes and other things like that. And instead of the officers just being able to just provide minimal first responder care for service, we took the next level where they can provide EMT service, and we carry all the equipment necessary
Wow.
for that. We've done everything from deliver babies, we've saved people on heart attacks, we brought them back after their hearts crashed. many things like
Do you
that
have
we've
this
done.
Narcan, which is the
We were the first
antidote,
law enforcement agency in New York State to have Narcan,
which is the antidote to heroin?
naloxone, which is which will reverse the effects of the opiate.
And what's the Prison Rape Elimination Act of 2003? PREA, that's one of your...
Right, the Prison Rape Elimination Act is for, the federal government passed that because of the problems they have, both rape in prisons and in jails all over throughout the United States.
And you have that also in Rensselaer County?
No, we don't,
I'm asking.
we're all required to follow the law.
Okay.
And the structure around the law.
Is that a problem in Rensselaer County?
No, it's never been a
Okay.
problem. I'm not saying it hasn't occurred in the
Right.
past, it has. Is it a problem? Absolutely not.
Well, I think one case
Yeah.
is a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is when, but you're right.
And what about what can people bring into the correctional facility and what can't they bring in?
You mean when you visit?
Yeah.
Or if you're
visiting.
visiting, you really can't bring anything to the inmates. We don't allow you to transfer anything over to them. It's to come in and physically visit them. We allow them to mail certain things to them, clothing items and things like that.
Because I see like media goes in and they have a one-on-one interview with an inmate.
Not in our facility.
Not in your
I
facility?
do not allow cameras in our correctional facility.
And you wouldn't set up a room
No,
where
we
they
don't.
could
No, we don't do
just
that.
do a private interview?
We don't do that because it's disruptive to the environment of the correctionals. Inmates get all excited when there are cameras and things like that in there, and it can be very disruptive to the harmony of the facility. And we like to keep it. And if you've been in the facility, you see how it's run and how it is, and it's a great and quiet
Very
environment.
efficient, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to go, but I didn't have a chance yet, so.
Well, we can provide you.
I tell you, anytime you want to come, we'll be glad to take you on a tour.
Okay, but you'll let me out.
We'll definitely let you out.
After about 5 years. Now,
Well, I went to Mayville, this county seat in Chautauqua,
Yes.
in Chautauqua County, and the sheriff there had seen him at sheriff's conferences and
Yes.
things, and he said, well, when you're in Mayville, like who goes, come see me and I'll show you around. So we're walking through the county jail, and he says, those mattresses are very comfortable. More than, they look flat and but they're really comfortable. Go in and just put your hand on one of the mattresses and you'll see how comfortable it is. So I go in and the door closes.
They close the door on
And they
you.
start walking away. And I'm like, no. But I'll tell you, every child, everyone should go into a county jail and hear that door close on them. Because that is...
There is a psychological effect to that, isn't there?
Yeah, the reverberation of of that metal slamming is just totally incredible that you'll never want to hear that again.
do they have the youth programs? Because I know they have. I go to the state facilities many times.
We have programs for our youth inside the facility. Well, we don't have many, quote, defined youth. We have most of our inmates are probably in the age of 19 and above. We have some of them 18, but when you get lower, we separate them into a separate area for juveniles, what we call juveniles.
If they need an education, like
We
Mark was
provide
saying,
GED services for them.
if they're under 18.
No, for any inmate, we
Right.
provide GED services. I would love to provide college-level courses for them. However, I can't get the funding to do that. It's been very difficult. I've been attempting to do that in several areas and
I didn't
haven't.
know that a county. Usually, I go to county and they say there's not those kind of courses or any activities really for county. But you provide a GED. That's
We
very
provide
good.
GED.
Is that normal?
We
I mean,
also
that's
do
across the board?
Al-Anon, AA services.
Yeah,
We
very
provide.
Every county jail.
Probably
does that?
most all would do
Really? I
that.
didn't even know that.
Yes, they would provide as many. I mean, the goal is to cut back on the recidivism, and hopefully that many of them will pick up on whatever is there. Education is one of the most important things, to gainful employment. So if we can get them the education that they need, and most of them come in without a high school degree. So we work on that. Some of them might come in 4 or 5 times on different times and work and progress on their degree as they move along.
It's interesting because I'm looking at what you offer from your website and you have 80 languages You have something that you can translate.
Well, right, you can do it through the telephone now. It's amazing, and computers.
80 languages I never heard of. That, you know, and you have Yiddish on there and you have Hebrew,
Yes.
but I mean, you have other languages that I just.
Just as a
It's
side
amazing.
topic, is whenever we have a rabbi on staff and he's on call out of New York, but he comes anytime we have a
What's his name?
Rabbi Lefkowitz.
Okay.
Whenever we have a Jewish prisoner, they will come up and meet with them, and if they have any specific needs, Hasidic come in and meeting certain requirements that they need.
Kosher food.
Kosher food. Oh, kosher foods are all of them. I mean, we have many people request kosher foods,
Even if they're not
and they're
Jewish.
not Jewish.
Yeah.
Yes, but they'll interview. They'll see what the needs are, and we provide those needs for everyone.
What do you do in terms of kosher food? How do you have it sent in from downstate, or
It's sent in. It's all pre-sealed, prepackaged foods for the inmate, and they receive them that way.
do you know why the non-Jews like to get their kosher food that way? Because it's safe.
Oh no, it is a
They
safe
know
food. Yes.
that it's not tampered with. It's not, you know, that
No
it's,
antibiotics. No.
you know, no one's putting, you know, they're paranoid sometimes. So they think people, you know, law enforcement's putting little
no.
truth serum or something in the
That's definitely
in the
paranoia,
food.
right?
You know, but when they can see that this is not just plentiful food, not just good, better food, but it's also double wrapped and
Right.
it's safe, and they're getting it and they can open it
Everybody
themselves.
wants to be Jewish.
They all want to be Jewish.
A lot want to be Jewish when it comes to the food. That's correct.
Really?
Well, there's a court case that forced the prisons to do it. If you believe in your heart of hearts that at that moment you're Jewish and you keep kosher, then that's it. You got to law enforcement
provide-
has to give them
We provide the
the
kosher,
kosher
meals.
food. So that's an expensive.
All foods.
proposition, isn't
I
it?
mean, our food budget runs. It's very expensive. We do about 460,000 meals a year, and we run about $1.80 a meal. So on average, so you know,
Doesn't sound like a lot,
it doesn't sound like a lot, but
but it is.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
You know, we buy, of course, in bulk volume.
Right.
And,
You use Cisco,
we
Freihoffers.
everything goes out to bid,
Yeah.
and the lowest bidder comes in, and that's how we purchase our foods.
Right.
Some locally, we try to do local if we can, of course, and we try to use during the appropriate season our local farmers if we can. So how that all works, and we have our own cooking staff that we provide that cooks for them, and we have many inmates who work in the kitchen.
Okay.
So it's a big operation to move this through for all the meals for the day.
Do you have a program like they have in Albany County where you have prisoners going out into the community and like cleaning up cemeteries or
Yes, we do.
Well, tell me about that.
We call it our Alternatives to Incarceration program, where the courts will sentence you, instead of inside the facility, they'll sentence you to this program if you are a nonviolent crime and not a danger to anyone. You'll be sentenced there. And then we utilize you in many areas within the community. A lot of church groups, a lot of government office buildings. Some in the springtime, a lot we go out and help a lot of the little leagues prepare and get ready for their season. We'll help remove a lot of debris in roads and things
And
like
it's
that.
all free of charge.
It's no charge to them at all.
Right.
Well, it does cost the taxpayers because we have to pay people to monitor them and everything.
Yeah.
But there is no charge
Additional.
no additional charge.
What is this about liquid doses of steroids and pharmaceutical pills? It seems like you've seized a lot of.
We've been
Those things.
I mean, we have a full service drug investigation unit that works constantly, and they work all different hours of the day, and they've been very, very active in.
What is liquid steroid?
Steroids are, of course,
but-
as you see, similar to what you see on the illegal thing for our
But I always
athletes
thought
are
they
buying.
had to be injected, like.
Well, they can be
A-Rod
injected.
and-
They don't always have to be injected, but they can be taken in other ways.
Wow. So
but
why didn't
it's
A-Rod
crazy.
take the liquid version of it?
Well, they probably work better the way they do. I'm not sure on that, but steroids are items we come across, and let alone your other typical drugs that your standard, coke, meth, heroin, crack, all those things, so.
Well, you got your job cut out for you, that's for sure. And are you planning on running for another term?
I do plan on running another term.
When are you up for election, next year?
Next year,
Okay.
yes, I do enjoy it.
Well,
It's-
thank
I
you
love
for the
job.
announcement.
Yes,
And how old are you?
I am 63.
Okay, great.
So
Keep
young
on
enough.
rolling. We give a little blessing that you're doing good work in Rensselaer County for all the people in Capital District. You should continue your good work with good health.
Best of success.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.